So in this video, I wanted to spend some time talking about a very specific type of plastic pen. These are not something I've seen categorized or really even named, but I've been noticing that there's a certain type of plastic pen that I've put into this category when I'm thinking about them. And I think a number of people out there will sort of recognize that this is a subcategory or some sort of categorization of pens unto themselves. So what am I talking about here? I would call it an 80s style or a old school plastic pen. That's not the best description or the best title, but I'm working on that. So we'll figure out a better name over time, but let's kind of get into the pens themselves. So what defines this category as a whole? For me, the number one thing I'm looking for is a clear or translucent plastic body married to or matched with, whatever you want to say, a ridged plastic grip. The grip and the body are the same material. The grip is a hard plastic made out of the body itself. It's not an add-on grip. It's not a rubberized grip on a plastic body. It's not a metal knurled grip on a plastic body. It's a single piece with a plastic knurling like that. And then there's some variety within the family. Some are capped, most are capped in fact, some are retractable. There's a couple of pencils in here, which are obviously kind of oddballs since it's really, for me, it's a set of pens. Almost all of them have a cylindrical body, which is on the skinny side and very free of adornment. I'm hesitant to add more restrictions to the category because for me, it's really about being a primarily plastic pen with a ridged plastic grip and sort of an old school design. So what are the pens? I'm sure there's a lot more out there, but for me, these are the main ones, at least that I know about. First up, we have a Pilot High-Tech. Sometimes you see it's called the High-Tech C. It's also sometimes known as the Pilot G-Tech. And you could see plastic body, very straight column-like design. Perfect example of that ridged plastic grip. This one happens to be a gel pen. It happens to be a needlepoint. Those are, I would say, incidental. The bigger point is that we have this old school design, ridged plastic grip. For me, it's a great looking pen, but it's definitely all of an error. You can call it a 90s pen, an 80s pen. I don't really want to split hairs there, but it looks like a pen design that's been around for some time. There is also this is called the High-Tech C XS, which is the same pen, same cap and all that. It has the grip. It's just a shortened body. It's just like a portable or mini version of the High-Tech C or the High-Tech, depending on which variety you have. Okay. Now we have this one. This is called the Zebra, and the Zebra ones in this sort of type of pen are definitely, I would say, less famous, but nonetheless, they very much fit the categorization. So this is called the Zebra N-5000, and it is very much a plastic pen. You see it's translucent, sort of an aqua, and then it has that ridged grip. This one has an accessory piece at the front, which is actually not so different than the High-Tech. The High-Tech has a metal one. This one has a plastic one. This is an old school ballpoint, and you can see very much a 90s design, early 90s, late 80s design. And you can see all plastic hardware, very simple. So Zebra is not, Pilot is not the only company making these sorts of pens. When it comes to the sort of most famous pens in the category, I really think the High-Tech C is probably the most popular one, but a lot of people will associate this category with this pen, which is called the Pilot Better. The Pilot Better is I remember using these a very long time ago, sort of just as a really, I would think of it as being a very standard pen. You know, you had your Bics and your Papermates. Outside of those, when you had a kind of a budget kind of pen that you buy in a pack of 30 or 40. The Pilot Better was just that sort of pen. This is the retractable version. You can see translucent body. This one happens to be hexagonal. Ridged plastic grip. This one has some metal hardware. And with this, now we're moving back to a very standard ballpoint. These pens tend to have some rattle to them, which is sort of that old school ballpoint feel. That's when they hadn't yet thought to, or were trying to save cost and not securing all the parts. So you have some rattle in there. That's fairly common with some budget pens, especially back in the day. Once it's under pressure, that's usually gone, but when you're writing, there's that very distinctive type of sound to it. So again, this is the Pilot Better retractable. Here we have, and I'm not going in any specific order here, this is the Pilot Super Knock. This is a very similar pen to the Pilot Better, but it doesn't get any metal hardware. Again, the body is almost identical to the Pilot Better. Same ridged plastic grip, almost the same front piece, except it exchanges the metal for plastic, and the writing experience very similar. So again, that is the Pilot Super Knock. Here we have the Pilot, the BPS, and I'm not sure the exact difference between the BPS and the Better Pen, but I think the BP is basically stands for Better Pen. So I would consider this to be the capped version of the Better Pen. Maybe someone out there can tell me that, oh, the Better Pen was replaced with the BPS or something like that. But for me, this is the Better Pen in the capped version, which from back in the day, this is kind of what I think of. In my head, it was a translucent green, not translucent blue, but this is just what I happened to be able to find when I was shopping around for these. Some years ago. It's not like I bought it recently, but you would buy this in a big 12 pack for, not very much money. So that's the Pilot BPS. There's that grip and the same front piece and the same grip, basically the same exact design as the Pilot Better. It's just kind of, for me, confirming that it's from the same series, even though the name has been changed. And the writing experience is very the same. It's very consistent, old school ballpoint. Doesn't have a lot of drag. I'm sure the inks have been changed over time and kind of add, the way a modern ballpoint has some lubricant in it and has some other things to clean up the writing, but definitely an old school ballpoint feel. So Pilot BP-S. Moving along, we have this one. This is called the Uni Sa-r. I don't know if it's Sa-r or Sa-r or whatever, but in the same way that Pilot and Zebra, is in on the old school ballpoint pens, no surprise that Uni Mitsubishi was not to be left out. And here we can see that logo, Uni Sa-r from Mitsubishi Pencil Company, as you'd expect. There's that ridged grip and then the plastic hardware. The ridging is interesting on this one because this is a hexagonal pen. It has the plastic grip ridges, but only on the flat areas, only on those flat facets there, not wrapping around there. It's a little hard to tell on this crystal plastic, but you could probably see that the corners or the edges are come to a flat area, and then you have the ridges in the middle. So adds a nice little feel because here you could feel it, the ridges, and then you move over and you don't have it there. So that's the Uni Sa-r. And this one has even more of a sort of old school ballpoint feel to it. I feel like the Pilots have they feel a little bit more modern and a little bit smoother, slightly more saturation than I would have expected from a very old pen. This Uni Sa-r has the old school ballpoint drag, just from the more friction to the ink, and the black color is it doesn't have the sort of same pop that you would see from a modern black ink. Let's see if I have any black color pens right here. So yeah, here's like a modern Pilot. ink. So you can see the difference here between a modern black Pilot ink and this old school Uni, which is like really more like a dark gray. So that's the SA-R. And now we have, this is the Zebra. This is the N52S. I don't know if it's really that different than this one. This is the Zebra N5000. Sorry, not N52S, N5200. This is the Zebra N5000. This is the 5200. Is it a different pen? Is it the same pen in red versus blue? For me, they're different pens because you can see the profile of the clip. It's clearly been changed. This N5200 has a much blockier clip. It ships with a sticker around it. I'm not really sure why. And you know, these pieces of hardware are very similar. It's a little thicker on the red one here. But what do we see in the pen on the N5200? Sorry, not the N5200S or whatever I said, the N5200. We see long plastic hexagonal design. This one has a slightly modified ridged plastic grip. The ridges are not as small as we've seen on some of the other pens. Like here's the Uni. Here's the Pilot BPS. This is slightly, like I would say, medium size. And here on the Zebra, we have a large size, almost as if they've been slightly rounded, like little rounded bumps as opposed to ridges. The writing is very similar to the Pilot's. Smooth, modern feeling ink, definitely a ballpoint. And that is another one from Zebra. And I don't think this list is in any way exhaustive. This is just what I happen to find. It's not like when you search Amazon or Google or something like that, you know, you type in 80s style pen or something like that, you're getting a really definitive list. So I'm just doing what I can here. If you have suggestions, let me know. This is an oddball. I'm not even sure where I bought this. It doesn't even work anymore, I don't think, but is a retractable, click retractable double pen. Very strange, weird double clip rather. And when you click it, both of them come out. It's it's sort of hilarious in how unfunctional it is. But I saw it and I picked it up, or maybe I think it was actually given to me. When you click it, they both come out. And what do we see here? This one is the only opaque pen we'll be looking at, but it is full plastic, which for me is, the plastic is a necessity. And we have a grip that is, in this case, it's not ridged because it's actually, it goes in to the plastic. It's like sort of indented, so it's a molded grip as opposed to a ridged grip, but functionally it's the same thing. You know, most of them, the grip, you know, goes out. These ones, it goes in. I'm not gonna split hairs there. We have a plastic grip made out of the same material and in one piece with the body. So for me, it qualifies. And this one, when you write with it, you have to write with it sort of, obviously you can't write like this. You have to write with it on the side there. And you have a pretty standard red ballpoint ink, pretty similar to that Zebra. And then the blue, yeah, the blue one is out of ink, unfortunately. But you could see what it'd be like from the red. Pretty, again, pretty nice feeling. Red ballpoint, okay color, okay smoothness. And this is a Batons. Here we have one of the most famous and at this point, oddly enough, most desirable pens in the category. This is called the Pilot Hi-Tech C Coleto, or the Coleto Hi-Tech C, however you want to say it. And this was sold in a couple different varieties. This is the original, which is the 2-color, and it has these gel, yeah, I guess they're gel refills, and you could get a 0.5, 0.7, whatever, and you push it out, and that's it. It's 2-color. It's also sold in a 3-color or a 4-color. I think it was even sold in a 5-color, but only the 2-color has retained the Coleto, or I guess the Hi-Tech. Yeah, there you go. Only the Coleto, sorry, only the 2-color Coleto has retained the Hi-Tech design. You can see here it has ridge grip, full plastic body. In this case, it is translucent, and the 3 color moved to a different grip, and so did the 4 color. And if there was a 5, they all had more modern designs. Only the 2 color has maintained this old school design, and I've been a big fan of this pen for a very, very long time. It's I'd say one of the first pens that really made me take notice of kind of Japanese pens back in the day. And the green refill is, the blue refill with the needle tip, that is a Hi-Tech C refill in there. For the green side, it's actually writing blue, but for the green side, I have put in a different refill in there. I think I put in a 1.0 millimeter Uni Jetstream refill. I somehow crammed that in there, and it still works quite nicely. Or maybe it's a Zebra, I forget what refill's in there, but I wanted to have a skinny refill here and then a nice wide refill there, which is a really nice combination for me. Anyway, that's totally aside from the point. The bigger point is I'm a big fan of the Hi-Tech C, and this body very much fits the bill. It's one of the only multi-pens. In fact, it's the only multi-pen I could think of in the category. Here we have the only pencil I could find, which is the Pentel Techniclick. It's a side clicker, 0.5 millimeter. You could see clear plastic body, and definitely that same plastic ridged grip. Quite cool. Has some slight differences to it, but it is a pencil. It's obviously the only one with an eraser, only one with a side button, but definitely inspired by these older designs, I would say. I don't think this one has the same old design, and it has, obviously, it loses out on that sort of column shape, right? Because it has a flat facet here, it's rounded, it has the button, so it's definitely a much more complex design than, something like this pen, which is just a, very simple retractable design. This one is more molded, it's rounded at sections, it's a good deal larger. The older pens tend to be a lot smaller than a more modern pen. So again, I would put this in the sort of inspired by category. That's the Pentel Techniclick. And what do we have last? Again, these were no particular order. This is, oh man, just another SAR snuck in there. So there you have it. There you have the old school 80s style, I don't know what to call it, plastic ridge gripped pens. If you're interested in these, I would say don't even overthink it. Just go ahead and buy yourself some Pilot Hi-Techs if you want sort of like I would say the best pen in the field. If you want something that is a ballpoint, so truer to the original design, then go ahead and find yourself, I'd say a Pilot Super Knock is gonna fit the bill, or you could upgrade the Super Knock to the Pilot Better. And once you have the Pilot Better, then you're getting what I would consider to be the real exemplar of the category. So there you go. Thanks for watching.